It was kind of funny that when I was talking to Chloe, she mentioned that when she saw Wanted, she wanted a role like that, and then sure enough, here comes that.
What freaks me out is she's the same age as my daughter, and she saw Wanted. I thought, how the hell did that happen? You know?
Yeah, it's true. You're younger than my son, and my son hasn't seen Wanted yet.
Very weird how that works. So, like, can you talk about like the comic and the movie were kind of created almost at the same time? So, you kind of talk about that dynamic and just how that worked.
Yeah, well, I was down at a party at Matthew's house about 2 years back, and he said to me, Thor wasn't working out. He'd just finished Stardust. He said, "Have you got anything that's any good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got this thing." And we talked about a thing called American Jesus for a little while, and then we decided to go for Kick-Ass. And I'd literally just started writing it. I'd done a couple of issues, and I had a plot of where it was going from there. And Matthew was like, "I love this. Let's do this." And he started writing the screenplay while I was still writing the rest of the books. So it was great. It was so smooth. I mean, it was literally just like two mates sitting down and coming up with a whole thing. It was very, very informal, and Johnny was immediately involved. We're both producers on the movie. Johnny was involved in all the visual side of it. I was involved in the story side of it. It's been lovely.
Was it kind of bizarre because since it was created so quickly and it was rushed into a movie so quickly, was it kind of odd seeing these characters you just created be kind of visualized on this?
Yeah. I mean, we were just saying this earlier. Like, normally it takes 40 years. Superman, it was 1938 to 1978. Spider-Man, the early 60s to the early 90s. And here we are before the book's even finished. Wanted was crazy. Wanted was 4 years, but this is like 6 months. It's nuts.
So, is there anything else you guys are creating, like graphic novel-wise or film-wise, that you're working on?
I've got a couple of projects going. Gray Area, I'm trying to get that up and running, and I've come up with a new project that I'm going to work with Howard Chaykin on. It's called Schmuggy and Bimbo, based on two leg breakers that my parents grew up with when they were kids.
Schmuggy and Bimbo.
Schmuggy and Bimbo, and you can ask Howard Chaykin about that. We're going to start working on that in a couple of months.
Me, I'm quite lazy actually. I've just realised I hardly do anything.
I'm counting his money.
But I think I'm working. I mean, I love working at Marvel as well. I love the guys like Joe and Dan and all the guys at Marvel. They've been so good to me over the years. They cut me so much slack when I'm doing the film stuff and everything. So I'm staying with them for as long as I'm doing more. Talking about maybe doing some Spidey stuff or whatever, Wolverine with Johnny.
Absolutely.
But I'm doing Ultimate Avengers just now at Marvel, for the relaunch of the Ultimate line, and loving it. Get Carlos Pacheco, even though he's Spanish, I'm working with him. And then Lionel Francis Yu, even though he's some kind of Asian type of guy.
I'm the only English-speaking guy that he works with. And even then I can't understand a word he's saying.
Imagine the phone calls between a Scottish guy and a guy from Singapore. I mean, that's going to be entertaining, But and on top of that, 3 new creator-owned projects. One with Steve McNiven, one with Lionel Francis Yu, and maybe one with Dave Gibbons, Mr. Watchmen, And I bumped into Dave in the airport
Brilliant
the other day.
Artist. My God, you're a brilliant artist. Lionel Francis, you might be the best draftsman in the industry right now.
He really is
Oh,
great.
he's
He doesn't realise how good he is. Marvel have got him working for 17 cents a page because he lives in Singapore or something, And he's a genius. He's
Thank
great.
God he has no ego. When he finds out how good he is, he's going to be in trouble.
So, we were talking about how quick it came from the comic to the movie. So now that the movie's been shown here and was a just amazing response, I think it'd be hopefully just as quick to get a distribution deal for this.
We're not nervous at all. It's so ridiculous to say that. A friend of mine has invested $50 million of his money and his friend's money, and yet we're so confident it's going to be fine because it's really good. It's just that simple. It's a good movie. I'm relaxed about it.
I agree. And it's not even about the visuals. It's about the crux of that story is to see that little girl parade around, have the father teaching her how to take a bullet shot. You don't come up with this stuff easily. This is brilliant. I love it. And Nicolas Cage and that little girl, those scenes together
Their chemistry
are fantastic. And that little girl's going to be the bust-out character.
Thanks so much, guys.
My pleasure.
It's all nice to see.